Always look for food with the bordbia quality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more.
Over 80% of Irish farmland is grassland, and as Ireland has the longest grass growing season in the Northern Hemisphere, it means that the country's 1.4 million cows can graze outdoors for up to 300 days per year. There are 18,000 dairy farms in Ireland, and one of the country's youngest and most innovative farmers is Maeve O'Keefe, who manages the dairy herd on her family farm in County Cork.
So we're milking 130 cows. We're a spring calving system here, grass-fed all year round.
What breed of cows do we have here in the fields?
We have a mix actually. We were a pedigree Holstein herd, and we changed to crossbred. So we crossbred all of our cows to Jersey. So there's a mix of Jersey crosses here. We also dabble a small bit in Norwegian Red Cross, but my favourites would have to be the Jersey crosses.
And why the Jersey?
I think the Jerseys, they're just a lovely animal, much easier to handle and to work with. They're a lot more inquisitive than the Friesians. And also, I suppose it's down to the milk as well. Like, the Jersey cow is a more robust cow, a hardier cow. So you see less problems with the Jersey cow. The fertility is better, the lameness is better, and also the milk solids. And that's what we're getting paid on now.
And what does that actually mean now, the milk solids?
You're talking about the fat and the protein. So before in Ireland we were paid per litres, so that's where the big Holstein cow played its role. Whereas now it's paid per kgs of milk solids, so it includes the fat and the protein. So the higher fat and protein you have, the more bonuses you get in your milk.
So it's about quality?
Quality as well as
Rather
quantity,
than, yeah,
both.
What did people think when you changed from a pedigree herd to a crossbred herd?
A lot of neighbours thought that we were going crazy because we were destroying our perfectly pedigree herd and changing it into a crossbred herd. The milk price was going to be based on solids at that time. It was changing from litres to solids. We had an issue with fertility in the herd and it made sense to change it, so we did. So and it worked out really well.
Now, as a female farmer, how does it work for you?
Initially, people don't realise that you're a farmer. And then they'd ask you some silly questions like, oh, what would you do with a case of mastitis? And then I tell them what I do with a case of mastitis. And then I end up explaining more to them about it and they're like, all right, you really are a farmer.
And do you see more and more females coming into the industry? When
I attended agriculture college, I was the only female in my year. But down through the line, I think there's definitely more females starting to get into farming. Farming has changed an awful lot over the years. It's not all about physical work so much anymore. It's more about measuring grass, about managing staff as well, managing the cows, managing the fertility, managing lameness. I think there's a lot of ways around the physical side of it now as well. We've access to loaders now. Before you were maybe lugging things around. That's kind of gone now at this stage.
You mentioned about managing the grass. What does that mean? It's
very important to manage the grass to make sure the cows are going into it at the right time. This will ensure a higher quality of milk. So I walk the grass every week and I'd measure every single field. You want the leafy grass, so that's good leafy grass now for them to be grazing. And also when you get them into it at the right height, they're going to graze out to very low residual. So that means you'll have good quality grass coming back again the next time. What you wouldn't want is maybe to be going into grass that's gone too strong or stimmy. So any bits of stimmy grass here, I'll just show you as an example.
Why is that now?
This is stimmy grass, so the cows won't eat that. The milk won't be good off of this grass. The fat and protein will be less, and also the cows won't graze that down. Whereas the cows, they'll produce good quality milk from leafy grass. They'll graze down nice and tight, so it'll be good quality again the second time they come back into it.
It's inspiring to meet farmers like Maeve, whose dedication and passion ensure that farming in this country is in good hands. Ireland's cows produce 11.6 billion pints of milk a year, and it takes 21 pints of milk to make just 1 pound of butter. I've come to Kerrygold Park to meet Jean Kelly, Head of Group Communications and Sustainability at Ornua.
So Neven, welcome to the Green to Gold Centre.
It looks gorgeous, so new and fresh.
Oh, it's very new, just opened last September. And this is the room, I suppose, that we celebrate the history of Kerrygold. And you can see actually from this board here that back in the 1900s, we'd over 350 dairy cooperatives across the country producing many, many packets of butter. And you can see all the various packaging here. But it was actually not until 1962 that Kerrygold was born. And at that time, there was huge debate over what would we call Kerrygold. Would it be Leprechaun, Shannon Gold, Buttercup? Thankfully, they went with Kerrygold. All our international customers, when they visit us here in Ireland, we bring them to Kerrygold Park. But a key part of that visit is we invite them all to go to a dairy farm beforehand, because it's critical that the customer can see and bring them to the source of where it all happens. Our number one market is Germany. We've been exporting to Germany for well over 40 years, and you'll find Kerrygold in nearly 2/3 of all German fridges. And you actually need the cream from nearly 3,400 farms to support the German market alone. But the next big success story for us is the US. So back in '99, the team over there asked for 1 pallet of butter. They wanted to test the market, how it would do. And today, while the number 1 imported butter, which is great, but really more importantly, that we're the number 3 overall branded butter.
This is our actual butter and packing facility here in Kerrygold Park. Here we have our churn, and we start by bringing in cream from our silos. We have 150,000 litre silos of cream outside. So from here, the cream is fed into the churn.
And how much cream do you use?
This churn actually can process 24,000 litres of cream an hour, which equates to about 12 tonnes of butter. And here you'll see the actual cream coming in, and the churn is actually churning the cream. And you'll see the clumps of butter being actually formed here. We call this the texturizing unit. That kind of kneads the butter together. There's a vacuum pump on it also to suck out any air within the product. It will push out any excess water, and then you will form your stream of butter. So here you will see your actually stream of finished butter, and that's then held in a silo or tank that's held there, and then it's fed to our 4 retail packing lines. Here in Neven, we have a unique packing line. So this is unique in that it's mainly for the American market. So we are a fresh product just packed into 2 sticks. Each stick is 4 ounces. We have it in tablespoons, we have it by cup, we have it by ounces. So depending on the recipe they're using, they can actually measure out for baking.
You see a lot of recipes calling for a stick of butter.
Correct.
So that's what it means.
Yeah. So Neven, here we are at the end of the production line. So here is our coaster facility, and it can hold up to 1,200 pallets at any one time. But the main reason for holding the product here is to make sure that the fat crystals are formed within the finished product, and also that the product is firm enough for transporting through our supply chain. So the only step after this is it's directly loaded onto the bays here for the delivery trucks, and from there it's supplied through our 32 countries from here.
It's amazing when you think of a pound of butter, how many processes it goes through here, and yet to think it's distributed all over the world. It's an amazing success.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Norma.
Thank you for coming, Neven.
Le Pattisier in Dublin makes traditional patisserie using classic cooking techniques and locally procured ingredients, including, of course, a lot of Irish butter and cream. The company was set up by pastry chef Robert Bullock, and it supplies many restaurants, hotels, cafes and retailers with desserts, cakes, cookies and tarts, including its award-winning lemon meringue tart.
So the first thing we're going to do is make what we call patisserie. It's our sweet pastry we use for all of our tarts. We use all Irish unsalted butter, sugar in.
House to sugar?
Absolutely. We just break down the butter and the sugar. Then we take our eggs, which is a liquid egg. It helps us weigh out our ingredients quicker, but also we have no shells in the building. Our eggs are Irish, pasteurised, and they're free range.
That's the whole egg that's in that?
The whole egg's in that. So our sugar and our butter's broken down. So now we're just going to add the egg. So I have a little bit of salt in the flour. We have half the amount of butter to flour, and then quarter sugar. Quarter egg.
Just plain flour you're
Just
using?
plain flour, yeah.
Plain
We use
flour.
a French pastry flour. Add the flour.
Why are you using French pastry flour?
It gives our pastry a nice crisp finish. That's the pastry finished. We wrap that, we put it back into the chiller, and then we're good to roll them out. Here's one that we've already prepared. So in here is 56 grams of pâte sucrée. It's lined, and then it's ready to bake.
So there's a machine there, I can see him doing it behind.
So we weigh what we call the pucks. We weigh them out at 56 grams, and then we press them. We used to make them by hand, but we're doing 10,000 a week now. Zest all of our lemons, and then we just cut them in half.
I'll do that and you can choose.
Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem.
So we're going to boil our lemon juice with the zest.
Why do you do that?
It speeds up the process for us. You take the juice and the zest, pop it in the saucepan and bring it to the boil. Here I have already heated a small pan of water, just at simmering temperature. We take the sugar, our eggs.
Again, the full eggs.
And then we're just going to mix that just to break down the sugar. And then we're going to take our just boiled lemon juice and zest. We strain it just to catch all the zest, all the piths.
And then push it through. That's very
No
clever.
wastage. And we're going to pop that just on a medium temperature. And we're going to cook this for between 5 and 8 minutes. 5 to 8 minutes and it's already cooked.
Nice and thick, isn't it?
Absolutely. So now we just want to emulsify the unsalted butter into the curd.
Does that give it a lovely richness to it?
Absolutely, yeah, and it also helps it set. So once the butter's in, we are ready to pour it into the tart. And then we just allow that to set. It'll cool, and no more cooking. Okay, so we're going to put it what we call our pistol. It helps us control how much we'll put in. This is our pastry that we made earlier. So it's just blind baked, and then we're going to put our curd straight on top.
You know, you're looking at that and you're thinking, look at how runny it is. How is it going to set? But it does set.
Absolutely.
You fill it right up to the top.
No waste. So we allow that to set, maybe half an hour, and then we're ready to go. The curd set nicely in the large tart, and we have our Italian meringue made, cooled, and it's ready to pipe. Just the same piping action all the way around. The good thing about the Italian meringue, it's already cooked, so we just have to finish it with the blowtorch. It doesn't have to go back in the oven, but maybe back in the chiller just to cool down the meringue a little bit more.
And are all the 10,000 piped by hand like this?
Absolutely. Well, we wouldn't do 10,000 every day or every week, but yes, everything's hand piped. Just finish with the flour, and then just a bit of colour.
The blowtorch.
And you can give as much colour or as little as you want.
And that gives great flavour too, when you're glazing it like that.
Absolutely, and the smell is just delightful. So that's that made.
Looks spectacular.
So the best thing now is to pop that into the fridge, 10, 15 minutes, let the meringue cool down, and then it's great to serve. Here's one I prepared earlier. The same pastry, the same lemon curd, so we can just take a slice.
Perfectly set.
Pastry's very crisp.
I love the tartness of it. You have the crunch of the pastry.
Yeah.
You have the lovely soft marshmallow meringue on top. And you have that lovely acidity on the lemon. Absolutely delicious, Robert.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Pleasure.
Always look for food with a Bordbia quality mark, so you can relax and enjoy it more.